Hello, grade 5 children. Today we'll be starting with second chapter in SS, that is evolution of transport. Now, children, if I tell you all that you have to travel to church gate, how you'll travel? By train, by bus, by car, by bike. Yes, correct. And if you have to send any parcel or any goods to other part of India, like maybe Delhi or somewhere else, how you will send it? Via train, via aeroplane, right? So here, what I want to tell you all is how transport plays an important role in our day-to-day life. Like without transport, we are like we can't survive, right? We have to go walking from one place to another, and it will be very difficult for us as it is very time-consuming. So in this chapter, we'll learn how transport was evolved, right? So we'll be learning about the invention of wheels, and we'll find out how transport helped in trade and exploration, and we'll learn about the modern means of transport. So are you all ready? Okay, so here we go.
So, students, this is the second chapter, that is evolution of transport, and this is the part 1 of the chapter where we'll cover that is I explore, learn about invention of wheel, and find out how transport helped in trade and exploration. Development of transport and trade. Now, students, what do you mean by transportation? So, transportation is the movement of people and goods from one location to another is called transportation. Okay, so transport is the movement of humans or animals and goods from one location to another. Transportation is done using variety of vehicles, right, such as truck, car, train. Okay, and just imagine if there were no wheels, then transport would not exist today, right? So the invention of wheel is considered to be one of the most important inventions of all times. So during early age, as man developed, he started finding out many things, and with all his experiences, man became better every passing year. And gradually, slowly, man reached the state of development where he is now. Invention of wheel. The history of transportation begins from the human era and continued to change over a period of time. The first means of transportation was the human foot. They just walked everywhere they needed to go, and they looked different and lived a different kind of life. They discovered and invented many things to live comfortably. Now, students will ask the meaning of discovered and invented. Both the words are different. The meaning of the words are different. Discovered means found out, and invented means created. Now, for example, early humans, they discovered many stones, right? They found out many stones, and they invented fire. They created fire with the help of stones. Okay, so understood the difference between discovered and invented? Fine. And as I told you all, early humans walked on their legs wherever they had to travel. And if they had to carry loads such as log of wood or any heavy things, they used to carry on their backs. But after a point of time, they figured out that they could interact with and use the animals around them. So they used to sit on animals and direct the animals wherever they wanted to go. So by now to travel they used animal legs, and animals such as horses and donkeys were used to carry loads, but they could not carry heavy loads and they were slow. So by now they realized that even animals couldn't carry heavy loads. So some people believe that early humans saw round stones rolling off. So things that roll could move faster. So they started making rollers out of wood. See in the first picture, can you see? Yes, and they used to drag heavy objects, keeping that on the roller of wood, made out of wood. Then they gradually invented wheels. See in the second picture, slowly he realized that the things that could roll will move faster. So he gradually invented wheels. Okay. Powering early vehicles. In previous slide, we saw that early humans made wheels from logs, right? So now they started using those wheels in carts. So human beings started building carriages that were tied to horses and support it on wheels. Okay, and then the horses moved fast and carriage would also move fast without human having to spend much energy. So people could transport huge and heavy things over long distances. Later, they began to use animals such as bullocks, horses, camels, and donkeys for pulling carts. Such carts can still be seen in many parts of India, right? If you have visited your villages, then you must have seen bullock carts, right? You can see the first picture, right? Then, water transport was developed. As humans were settled on river banks, early means of water transport was also developed. Now wooden logs were used as way of crossing rivers and lakes. Okay, later these wooden logs were cut into plates to form boats. Okay, so boats were the easiest way of transportation across lakes and ponds. Such as rafts were also made. Can you see the picture? That is picture of a raft. And small boats were also developed. And gradually early humans started developing ships. They developed ships also. So with invention of wheel gave rise to an easier commute for trade and exploration of new places. Fine. Trade with distant places. At first, people started trading with neighboring areas where they could reach easily. Fine, so they used to travel along with the animal cart for buying and selling of goods. So, as trade grew, they began to travel to more distant places. They started traveling at far off places. Okay, so trade happened both over land and by sea. Over land means they had started using animals, and by sea means they started using ship. So as means of transport improved, trade grew. Now students, explorers such as Christopher Columbus, Vasco da Gama and Amerigo Vespucci discovered new lands and helped in establishing trade routes. Out of these three, we will first look Christopher Columbus and about Vasco da Gama, how they helped in establishing trade routes. So first one is Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus was an Italian explorer. He had participated in number of voyages. Now students, voyages means what? Voyage means a long sea journey. So he had participated in number of voyages, giving him a lot of knowledge and experience about sailing. People living in Europe wanted to set up a new trade route to the Far East. So, in 1492, along with his sailors, he crossed Atlantic Ocean and Columbus' fleet came across a small island that later came to be known as Bahamas. Okay, he explored the Caribbean and parts of South America. Columbus thought that he had reached the Asia and called the natives as Indians. He thought he has reached India. So this new land was not Indies but a new continent, and Columbus was not aware of it. He has explored many places, student, but his voyage, a long sea journey, established a regular contact between the Europeans and Americans. Fine. So now students will look at another explorer, that is Vasco da Gama. So Vasco da Gama, he is a Portuguese explorer and he sailed to India from Europe in the year 1497. Fine. And during that time, Indian spices and gold became popular in Europe. So that's the reason Europeans were looking to find the fastest route to reach India for trade purposes. They wanted spices, Indian spices and gold. Okay, so Vasco da Gama, he became the first European to sail to India by going around Africa and opened a major trade route to Asia. They were so eager, so Vasco da Gama was the first European. He sailed to India by going around Africa and opened a major trade route to Asia. Fine. So we saw about two explorers. The first one was Christopher Columbus and the second one is Vasco da Gama. So this was the end of part 1 of the chapter number 2, evolution of transport. In next chapter we'll see about modern means of transport. Okay, so see you next time. Bye.